Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
Thank you, Deputy Knox.
Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
I'm ready. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Deputy Knox.
Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
I'm ready. Okay, I got some feedback coming from somewhere. Hold on. Thank you, Deputy Knox.
Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
I'm ready. Okay, I got some feedback coming from somewhere. Hold on. Thank you, Deputy Knox.
Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
I'm ready. Okay, I got some feedback coming from somewhere. Hold on.
Thank you, Deputy Knox. Judge Gardner, we're ready when you are, sir.
I'm ready. Okay, I got some feedback coming from. Deputy Knox, did you hear that?
Yes, sir. We could.
That was the YouTube. I have no idea why I was doing it, but I muted it on my end. So hopefully we won't hear that going forward.
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or take a plea in your case. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you will have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release. The bonds may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of your case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post the bond, the property will need to have net equity in an amount equal to 3 times the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you in a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime has occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive a notice in the mail at the address given to the Sheriff's Department of your new court date. So I need everyone now to raise their right hand. Do you swear or affirm any testimony that you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so truth shall help you God? Okay. All right, Deputy Knox, I'm ready when
Okay.
you are.
Okay, sir, one moment.
So how come you got the YouTube thing on? You have to have the YouTube thing on? Or
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Nikki the Beard.
Ms. Beard, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $2,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Would that be 250 if I get a bondsman?
Approximately, yes.
Yes.
Okay. I've set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. But if you post your bond, that date will be waived by operation of law. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You can see if I qualify.
Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Beard, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
So, I mean, how do I do I don't understand how to do the bond thing. I don't know.
So the sheriff's department has a list of bonding companies that have been approved to write bonds in this county. And when you go down back from this process, you will be allowed to use the phones, and they will give you a copy of the list of the bonding companies, and you can call them, and they, tell them what you've been charged with, tell them your bond amount, and then they will tell you what fee that they will charge ultimately. Or you can use the property thing that I mentioned earlier, or someone can pay the full amount of the bond.
Okay.
So those are the options that are available to you at this stage.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Any other questions?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you Miss Benton? Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault. You do not have a criminal history. So I've set the bond amount at $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. I've also set a preliminary hearing date in your case for March 8th at 8:30 a.m. and that'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're doing here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I really don't know. I would have to talk to my mom about that.
Okay, so I am going to put on here on the form that you're going to hire your own lawyer, even though you said you don't know. But if you decide that you can't hire your own lawyer, you can go through the qualification process with basically filling out the same paperwork that you did here today. Does that make sense to you? Okay, do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
What percent, like you said, it's 15,000. How much would I have to pay? Like what percentage?
Each bonding company charges a different amount, but it's generally somewhere between 10 and 15% of the bond amount. Some bonding companies, they'll put you on a payment plan. So it, the amount that you pay upfront is relatively low, but each bonding company, they have their own kind of process. So you got to call them and tell them what you charge with, tell them your bond amount, and they'll tell you what fee they'll charge. Okay? Any other questions, ma'am? Okay, you're free to go back. Good morning.
Good afternoon, or good morning.
Are you Miss Christian?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of false imprisonment and 1 count of battery. Um, the false imprisonment charge is a felony. And based upon the allegations here, I can't change it at this stage. But what I've done is I've set a bond at $2,000 for the false imprisonment and $2,000 for the battery. So that's total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. And from what I've read and what I've understood is that Mr. Hickman, who's listed as a victim in this case, that he was also arrested.
Yes.
So I'm not going to put a stay away provision on this bond, which normally happens in a battery situation, because you and Mr. Hickman were both arrested, and the allegation, although it's battery, it does not present as the typical case of battery of someone actually being battered. It looks like, at least in your situation, you were blocking the doorway, and that's where the false imprisonment came into play. But I want to caution you, ma'am, is that if you and Mr. Hickman are going to be in the same space, I'm not going to put a stay away provision on his bond either. But if you're going to be in the same space, you're both adults, and I don't want you to be in this situation ever again in your life. So please govern yourself accordingly when you bond out and you're done with this. Do we understand each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because it's a felony, I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 8th, at 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. and that's going to be another Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you plan on representing yourself, hiring your own lawyer, or would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of counsel?
Because of the charges, if I do qualify, I would like to know.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify for the appointment of counsel. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
What exactly is false imprisonment?
False imprisonment is what we in the legal realm call the lesser included. It's sort of a smaller form of kidnapping. So false imprisonment is basically preventing someone from leaving a certain area. And that kidnapping, the additional element is that you force them to move in a certain place. So if I put a gun on you and I tell you to move 5 feet over, that's kidnapping. But if I tell you don't move, or I stop you from leaving, that's false imprisonment.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Tell him your name.
Miss Raven Dennis.
Miss Leland, move down.
Tell me your name again, ma'am.
Raven Dennis.
Okay. Deputy Knox,
Yes, sir.
I don't believe I have paperwork for. It was Miss Nunez?
No. What is your name?
Dennis.
Dennis, Miss Dennis.
D-E-N-N-I-S.
Raven Simone Dennis. Raven Simone Dennis.
I have her as a city ticket
Okay,
that I thought she was OTB.
okay. So then she's gonna go back. So she can go through, continue to go through the process. Okay. Miss Neela's coming up next. Come over here, Miss Dennis.
Okay.
Going so. I'll explain to you. Miss Neela, come on up. Move down, ladies. You take a seat, Miss Tucker. Your shift on over. Miss Neela, move up. And tell her your name.
Angelia Nailing.
Angelina.
Angelia Nailand.
Okay, I do have you, ma'am. Okay, ma'am, I have you charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. And I've set your bond at $1,000 based upon the allegations in the warrant, where it basically says that you were locking the door of the bathroom at the airport. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Actually, I'd like to go a step further and actually dispute the charges and not post bond. I'm innocent. In fact, I was in the process of filing a report about being assaulted at the airport and in the connected MARTA system, including in the bathrooms. And, you know, this police officer, a couple of them or whatever it is, decided to switch strategy and cite me for criminal trespass. Now I know that the airport is making some changes, et cetera, and that's fine for them. But when your policy says open to the general public from 4:30 to 11 p.m., 4:30 a.m. to 11 p.m., and of course sometimes there's some overlapping, then the person is not in violation. Also, which I'm not saying, I'm not explaining for myself, but for the people, seating is limited at the airport now for COVID-19. So if somebody is going to take an extra 15 minutes in the bathroom at the airport, they shouldn't be, it shouldn't be unexpected, and certainly how can one make it a crime? I think people would prefer that people take their extra 15 minutes in the bathroom versus standing next to each other less than 6 feet apart, which is what is likely to happen.
Okay, and ma'am, that certainly is your right. I will set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd for this charge. And I see that you did not fill out the form as it relates to the appointment of a lawyer. So is it your intention to represent yourself, or are you going to hire your own lawyer, or what is it that you're going to do?
As I said before, I believe that they will drop the charges upon reflection. I mean, they should have never even initiated these charges, but again, I think it's an oversight on their part. They can, of course, drop them and reconsider because I'm innocent of these charges. I think there's some bias going on as well. And like I said, it's advertised. Most of us know that once you advertise something, that is what you stand by. It's advertising their announcements over and over again that the general public is allowed from 4:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. There is a ticketed section of the airport and there's a non-ticketed section of the airport. I am never in the ticketed section of the airport. So I am in the part that is allowed for the general public. And as I said before, with uh, specific dealings at the airport, meaning I am there because I have asked for people to meet me there or meet me in the city. Some people are not going to go into the city. They are going to stay at the airport. I have flown from this airport before and have had the situation whereby I myself left the airport to visit with somebody in the city and was uncomfortable with the fact that I had to rush back to the airport, potentially miss my flight in order to visit with these people. So I know for a fact that, when I ask people to come and meet me at the airport or meet me in the city to help me, that one of the options that one has to have is the ability to meet people in the airport. And as I said before, there's a food court. I do patronage. I do patronize the businesses there. Well, I pay, my fee normally to eat there, to go to the gift shop there, to do the MARTA system there, etc. I've had incidents there myself whereby I consider them assault. I have had my property stolen, even coming here this last time. The officer said that he had brought my property or sent my property with me, and my property is not with me unless they have sent it since yesterday morning. My suitcases are missing. My purse are missing. He said there was no cell phone with the property, and there was, in addition to everything. So there's something going on here, and I think, like I said, upon reflection, rather than ask me to, continue with bond and or other, that they should instead, like I said, drop their criminal trespass. Also, they have the ability, if you are a general public person, if they have concerns, they have the ability to give you a list of concerns, not charge you with something that requires bond and or overnight stays. They have other options. They didn't take these options. So why should I be paying for options that they didn't take but had the option to do? So that's why I'm asking you to, instead of asking me to pay bond and establish some kind of hearing, is to drop the charges. I think that's what's fair for all of us, and for my property to be returned to me, and for all of us to go back to our normal lives. And if there is something more to be done to resolve this issue between the general public and the police and employees of the airport, that we proceed in a manner that most people have. They have the ability to have official feedback. They have the they have the ability to give you a list of grievances or concerns. I mean, they have all of these options other than a criminal trespass and, separating you from your property and your life, and then separating you additionally from your money and your life. And they didn't take any of these. So that's my request. And, um, you know, that's my priority here, is to, again, drop these charges. Let us all move on forward with our lives, move forward with the process, and return my property to me.
Ms. Nealon, at this point, the request that you're asking, or as we would say in the legal term, the relief that you're asking for is not available at this stage. I've set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd. That's the date that these charges can be dismissed. I would encourage you to not sit in jail until March 2nd.
You encourage me to separate myself from my money.
I'm sorry?
You're encouraging me to be separated from my money or be separated from my life versus, being able to be dismissed and appear at this hearing or whatever it is.
I do understand that, ma'am. At this stage, the allegations that were made in the warrant are sufficient for me to move it beyond this initial process. because the allegation is that the doors were locked and had been locked in the bathroom so that the cleaning personnel could not have access to the bathroom to clean the bathrooms. So that does constitute the basics of criminal trespass.
Well,
But how the points that you're raising are well made,
Well,
but this is not the stage for a judge to consider those points. And so that's the thing where setting you a bond and appointing you a lawyer so that if you choose to raise these concerns, they can be raised in the appropriate forum.
well, then if you have a concern about, they have a concern about the bathroom doors being locked for so long, they should deal with the people who are assaulting people in the bathroom. I told them at the time that I spoke to them, I don't have any investment in being in the bathroom for 4 hours. Nobody that I know of, I can't say that there aren't certain people who don't have that, but I particularly don't have any investment in being in anybody's bathroom for 4 hours. I had already told them, I had spoke to an Officer Jones and wanted to file a report about having been assaulted in the bathroom bathrooms at the airport and also on the connected MARTA transit system. So how they can charge me with, the crime that was perpetrated against me and then turn it into some sort of criminal trespass is just amazing to me. Further, the character of these attorneys are suspect. Mr. Beasley, who transported me over, made sure that he was in the room with me as Officer Lisa McGaw was searching me. I objected to it, told her to tell him to leave or turn around. And that's the only way that this man turned around, and he became the person who transported me to Clayton County Jail. So the character and integrity and processes of these police are questionable. So and the interaction between the people in the bathroom, turning something. I mean, they had to have seen whoever came into the bathroom who might lock the door or do something for 4 hours, because I have, as I said before, no investment in being in anybody's bathroom for 4 hours. They're just not that comfortable.
Miss Nealon, Miss Nealon, I do understand what you're saying. At this stage, I cannot grant you the relief that you're asking for. I would caution you that in the future, if this is something that a cause that you're going to take upon yourself, that you make preparations for the fact that you may get arrested and may go to jail, and so that you can deal with the cause, and it's not just whether you're pleading to a judge at this stage to get out or not. I cannot drop these charges. So
Miss Nealon,
No, I have one more thing to say.
Judge Gardner.
yes, ma'am.
Still talking? You're still talking, right? Yeah, she needs to listen to you.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Miss Nealon.
Want to
At
say,
this stage, you're gonna have a bond set of $1,000. If
away my money and my
Yeah, she's
life
not listening
to
to you anymore,
pursue
Judge Gardner.
resolution for my cause. How many times
is
can
she
these
done, sir?
people, how many times can these
one second, Deputy Knox, but we're kind of at that line.
and
Miss Nealon, there are a bunch of people that are waiting to have their situations dealt with. I cannot grant you what you are asking. I understand what you have laid out. If you do not want a lawyer, and if you're intent on not setting bond, you're going to sit in jail until March 2nd. Do you understand that?
mind having a lawyer, but as I said, I object to the fact that you were setting me up for a situation whereby it's repeated criminal trespass and or other, and repeated separation from my money and my life based on bonds and detentions. I mean, that's all that we have here. And I think it's ridiculous that in order to, you know, to deal with the situation or to deal with charges, that's what each time somebody's gonna have to come up with $100 or, you know, however many dollars, and of course, detention, whatever, to deal with something that shouldn't be. And so now, what you're telling me is I have to supposedly be in jail until March, when, you know, I shouldn't be asked to pay anything in the first place. And if there's any particular situation that I've already said here, the bottom line is I'm dealing with this particular situation with police who have whatever issues that are going on with them. I've told you about being assaulted. I've told you about my property being stolen from me. I've been assaulted not only at the airport, but also as part of the MARTA system. I believe that there's not enough investigation going on as far as what connection there is between the Atlanta City Police at the airport and the MARTA, Greater MARTA transit system, and the employees and the programs at the airport. So instead of, you know, doing that, I'm in a situation where charges that what somebody is guilty of, what somebody has perpetrated against me, I'm now being charged as a result of what somebody did to me. And so in order to get out of them, you keep telling me that I'm going to have to keep setting myself up to pay for money rather than, you know, go through some kind of process whereby, you know, evidence and other are presented, and I'm not consistently separated from money and life in order to deal with things that are done to me.
That's correct at this stage, ma'am, but you are now part of the judicial system, and there will come a day that you can address these issues before the appropriate court and the appropriate forum. But once you are arrested, there's not a trial that happens at this stage. So there's not a back and forth over it. I accept everything that you've told me as being true. But still, I cannot adjudicate. I cannot say that you are innocent or guilty at this stage. So that's what I'm trying to let you understand, that I accept everything that you've told me as being true.
Well, let me tell you, I've seen the character and integrity or lack thereof when it comes to this judicial system in this city, not to mention the city police, at least at the Atlanta, at the airport and other, and the MARTA police. I see nothing going beyond a constant flow of charges, bond charges, bond charges, bond, etc. If not something else, it's just, you know, the process that seems to you know, reign here. So if you want to, I haven't made my phone calls yet. You want to go ahead and appoint a lawyer or something, but I'm not signing up to any process whereby where I have seen the system at work in this city, and I'm not signing up to some constant bond, charge, bond, and especially not when I'm the victim.
Ma'am, do you have a job?
No, I don't. Well, I do currently have the ability to be employed, absolutely.
So approximately how much money do you make per month?
I'm not, well, this is not related to my job. This is related to benefits. So it's about 1,500, I believe.
Okay, you do qualify, Miss Nealon. Miss Nealon, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. But and this is the last thing, because we got to get to these other individuals. But if you don't believe in this system, you should not avail yourself of it. Meaning, you should not place yourself in a situation of being arrested.
I believe in a legal system, and I didn't place myself in the situation of being arrested, quote unquote. I've dealt with law enforcement before. You don't have to place yourself in the situation of being arrested. Sometimes they place you in that situation themselves.
That's true, but the allegation is that you locked yourself in the bathroom at the airport for 4 hours.
You believe it? You believe that I actually
I have no idea. And this, again, we're not here to have a trial. That's what they said. But I've appointed a lawyer for you. You need to tell the lawyer what happened so the lawyer can defend you adequately. And I wish you the best.
Well,
Okay, Deputy Knox, we're ready for the next person. I'm sorry, ma'am. Finish your thought.
I hope our legal system gets better than this. It certainly needs to.
Okay. You're Miss Smith?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Smith. You've been charged with 1 count of battery. I've set a bond at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, and I have to pay 15% of it if I go to a bond company.
Yes, at the maximum. Well, and I'm saying at the maximum. I'm not. I don't know. I do not know, but it's going to be a percentage. And the sheriff's office has a list of bonding companies that you can contact, and will tell you. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd, but that date is going to be waived upon your bonding out. Do you understand that, ma'am?
So I don't have to go to court? Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry?
Understandable.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Hi, are you Miss Tucker?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Tucker, you've been charged with 4 offenses: possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Of bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. You've also been charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which is a felony, which is possession of a controlled substance. And I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. You've been charged with giving a false name, address, or date of birth. I've set the bond for $1,500 for that. And you've been charged with driving a vehicle while unlicensed. And I've set the bond at $500 for that charge. So you have a total bond of $8,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because of the felony, you have a preliminary hearing date for March 8th at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be over Zoom like we're doing here today. March 8th. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
We have a family lawyer.
Okay. So I'm going to make a notation that you're going to hire your own lawyer. Do you have any questions of me, Ms. Tucker? Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Do I say my name? Aaliyah Wideman.
Okay, Ms. Weidman, you've been charged with 2 offenses. Driving a vehicle that has an obstructed or hindered display of the license, and the bond is automatically set at $500 for that. And you've also been charged with driving a vehicle without a valid license, and the bond is automatically set at $1,000 for that. So you have a total bond of $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
Yes, my mom already, this morning she went to the bonding place, but they didn't get my fingerprints and stuff into the system, so.
Okay.
I had to wait, but she already paid it.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Well, I don't know. This my first one, so I don't know.
You said you don't know?
No,
Okay.
I probably have to
So
talk to my mom and ask her what to do.
you did what? I'm sorry.
I probably gotta talk to my mom and ask her what to do, because I don't know which one to pick.
Okay. So at this stage, I can make a determination as to whether you qualify or not for the appointment of lawyer. We can blow past the stage, and you can, if you decide later that you want someone to determine whether you qualify for a lawyer, that determination can be made again.
You can determine if I qualify for it.
Okay. So you do qualify, ma'am. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. If at some point you decide that you want to hire your own lawyer, represent yourself, you can fire the lawyer that I'm appointing or change lawyers.
Okay.
That's totally your choice. Okay.
Question. So if my mom already paid my bond, like the percentage that she had to pay,
Mhm.
would I be leaving? Because I didn't get a chance to call nobody yet.
Okay. So this process of appointing a lawyer has nothing to do with your bond.
I know that part. I was asking about the bond part, like, because my mom already paid it, and they said my fingerprints wasn't in the system, so that's why I couldn't leave. So
Right. Right. So
when I go back there, if I can call her, or like, what's the steps next? Because I already got my bond paid.
probably, and I'm just guessing based upon what you just told me, you're not going to be in jail much longer. The fingerprinting process is something that they have to make sure that they have good fingerprints on you. And if they don't, that's the thing that they're, required to do. So from what you said, it looks like they were just trying to make sure they had good fingerprints on you. And if they have good fingerprints on you, then you're 99% out the door.
Okay, will I be able to make a phone call when I get back?
Yes, they will allow you to do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good, sir. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
All right, you're Mr. Aguilar? I'm sorry? Okay. Mr. Aguilar, you're charged with one count of driving under influence of alcohol. Bond's gonna be set at $5,000 for that. One count of improper lane change. Bond's gonna be set at $500. And driving with a learner's permit outside of the regulations, it appears to be. That's the allegation. Bond's gonna be set at $500 for that. So that's a total bond of $5,100. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yeah, I want to pay.
Or $1,000. Oh Jesus, $6,000. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of lawyer?
I could just pay the bond and I'll get out right now, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll just represent myself.
Okay. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m., but that date is gonna be waived once you bond out. Okay, you have any other questions for me, Mr. Aguilar?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
How you doing?
Tell me your name, sir.
Akil.
Okay. Jesus. Mr. Keel, you've been charged one count of driving on an expired or invalid tag. Bond is set at $500 for that, and one count of driving on a suspended license. The bond is set at $1,500 for a total bond of $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I don't know. I'm asking you to give me a signature bond.
Chief Judge Keisha Wright Hill does not allow the OR or signature bonds at this point. So I'm unable to do that. So you're gonna have to post this bond by cash, surety, meaning a bonding company, or by posting property. Okay. I see that you are currently unemployed. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Akil, you do qualify for the appointment of lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd. That date will be waived if you bond out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Come on.
You're Mr. Coker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Coker, you've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle without a valid license. The bond is automatically set at $1,000 for that. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. That'll be over Zoom, but that date will be waived if you bond out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself? You want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'll present myself.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Coker?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you, tell me your name, sir?
Marshall.
I'm sorry?
Gillian Marshall.
Marshall.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Marshall, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I do, but I definitely don't agree with it. I would like for the cop to check his body cam and actually, I didn't. My wife was in my face cussing me out and I pushed her away from me and I called the police because she was constantly cussing me out. And I walked outside and waited for the cops to get there and that was it. I don't believe that.
There is, what I could do, Mr. Marshall. Let me see. Deputy Knox. I was looking for the WAA for Mr. Marshall. I don't have it on my end. I will send an email to see if we can get a WAA for Mr. Marshall.
Maybe under your last name, Billy?
Let me see. I don't have that either.
Okay, so we can move to the next one. We'll find out about his WA.
Yes, it is under Dylan on my, it's under Dylan on the calendar. And it's under Marshall on the bond order. So let me ask you this, Mr. Marshall. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of counsel?
I'd like to see if I was qualified and if not, I will be able to hire one.
Okay. How much do you earn per month?
At the moment, nothing. I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Okay, so you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And So just so you know, the process, there's paperwork that I'm doing. That's where you see me moving around. I'm going to get the what's called the WAA, which is the charging information. And I'm going to review it, and I'm going to look and see what you told me today. And so I may lower the bond amount. But if not, it'll remain the same. So you can at least understand that the bond amount is going to be at a maximum of $5,000. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, and then we'll start from there. The bond amount may lower, but the sheriff's department doesn't start doing anything till they get the paperwork back from me. So you're not going to be caught in a situation where I make a determination later and then they've already acted on it. But I just want to keep this process moving along, and I want to be fair to you. So that's why I'm telling you this. Okay. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir. Can I still pay the bond and get out today?
Yes, sir. It's not going to be like a days long or whatever process. This hopefully will be done within an hour, and that's when I'll start doing my research. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, sir. I don't want to hold you guys up.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Name Michael Dixon.
Okay, Mr. Dixon, how are you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Mr. Dixon, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on a suspended or revoked license. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m., but that date is going to be automatically waived once you bond out. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem. Do you plan on hiring, Mr. Dixon, one last question. You plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
One.
All right, you do qualify, Mr. Dixon. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You are now free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Gibbs.
Okay. Give me 1 second, Mr. Gibbs.
Sir.
Mr. Gibbs, you charged with 1 count of battery. I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
No, sir. I have to try.
I'm sorry. Okay. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Mr. Gibbs. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm going to set a bond hearing, preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. That's going to be over Zoom call like we're having here today. I would also encourage you to call the bonding companies that the sheriff's office has approved, and they oftentimes will work with people, so they may put you on a payment plan as it relates to the bond amount. So don't just say I'm just sitting in jail. Pursue your options, okay? Any questions? All right, you're free to go back. You're Mr. Goggins? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
true? Yes, sir. Okay, Mr. Goggins, you're charged with theft by receiving stolen property, being an automobile. Let me make sure, sorry. Yes, I've set the bond, that's a felony charge. I've set the bond at $20,000 for that. You're also charged with driving with no license or no valid license. The bond is set at $1,000 automatically for that. So that's a total bond of $21,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Sir, I cannot post that bond.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 8th at 8:30 a.m. That's gonna be over Zoom call like we're doing here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself? You want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Goggins, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back. You're Mr. Hickman?
Sir.
Mr. Hickman, you've been charged with 1 count of family violence battery. I've set a bond for Miss Christian in this case, and I'm going to set a bond for you in this case also. And the bond is going to be set at $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
What is the percentage of that?
I don't know exactly, but it'll be somewhere between $250 and $300 around there.
$250.
Okay. There's also the bonding companies. They have different payment schedules and stuff like that. Some of them will even put you on a payment plan where you're paying every month. So I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies. The Sheriff's Office has a list of the bonding companies that are approved to write bonds in this county. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I mean, I can pay for the bond, but the lawyer, yeah, yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Hickman, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd. Do you have any questions of me, sir? It's March 2nd at 8:30 a.m., but once you bond out, that date will be waived automatically.
Okay, you said 10% of their $250.
Yeah, and I'm not a representative of a bonding company, so that's just a guesstimate on my behalf, but you're gonna have to contact them directly to get the true understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're free to go back. You're Mr. Huff?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Huff, you've been charged 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I could not post the full amount, but I tried to contact a bail's bondman and pay the percentage, but because I have a Mississippi driver license, I was labeled as a flight risk, but I was supposed to be starting a job today and being moved into a transitional house. So I know I won't run. I did hear that you weren't allowed to give a signature bond, but that's what I was trying to request based on the circumstances that I could not bond out on that percentage.
Unfortunately, I cannot set a bond as an OR or signature bond. The Chief Judge, Keisha Wright Hill, is not allowing that at this stage. So you're gonna have to post a bond, either cash, commercial, or property, but I would encourage you, as I've said before, to contact the bonding companies and see what they are willing to do.
I spoke with them and they said there's no way that I could get around paying the full amount because I'm from Mississippi. They even stated that I would have to pay the full amount, and after court I would get it back, but I don't even have the money to pay it. So I only have the percentage.
There's, I would suggest that you contact your relatives in Mississippi, because sometimes the bonding companies work across state lines. So for example, if you're relative in county that you live in Mississippi,
I'm
if
sorry, I don't even have any family to contact in Mississippi. That was the whole point of me kind of being up here. I'm kind of homeless. I was supposed to be placed in a transitional house this week for other trans women. And like, that's the whole point of me. Like, I don't care about being bonded. That was the whole point of me trying to get bond down and released because I fear for my safety here. Even last night of staying here, they already have made count that they're gonna get me. And I don't feel safe. There are good officers here, but there are some that don't care. And yesterday I kept asking for help and they kept looking at me and just walking off. So I don't feel safe here. If I have to wait for a court date, I'm gonna be dead. And I know that for a fact.
so I'm really sorry, and I do hear and understand what you're saying. I'm trying to work through the problem with powers that I have. So
and I'm having PTSD and I suffer from anxiety and depression because I've been raped before several times. I've been abused and I just can't be.
do you have any people here that you can rely upon?
The only people that I was staying with, I was just staying with someone this week until I was being able to be placed in the transitional house. Because being that I'm homeless, a Vision for Hope was helping me with resources and getting placed. And I was supposed to start orientation today for Chime Solutions, and that was gonna be my job.
You said it was something for hope. What was that?
A Vision for Hope.
Was it coalition? I'm sorry, I don't understand the first word.
A vision.
Mission for hope.
A vision.
A vision for hope.
Yes, sir. They were gonna place me in a housing facility for trans women.
Did you have a particular person that you were a contact person that you were dealing with?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, oh, I'm so sorry, my mind. Yes, sir.
Who was that person?
I can't remember her. All her information is in my phone.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Your bond is still set at $1,500. And I will see if we can reach out to this organization so that they, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll reach out to that organization and see if they can act on your behalf here. Then that's the best that I can do at this point.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me?
So I have to just wait till a court date.
Well, you have a court date currently set for March 2nd. I've appointed a lawyer and the paperwork goes to them today, but of course today is a holiday. So they're probably going to be closed and they'll get the information tomorrow that they've been appointed to represent you. They're going to make contact with you and you can tell.
Mr. Up. Stand up off the wall. Is he pulling his hair out? Yeah.
Okay, so you can tell them what you've told me. I'm gonna reach out to them, just let them know that you're here and that you have a fear for your safety, and to see if they will get involved in helping you to get out faster. So between the lawyer, this organization, and possibly you working on your own behalf, you can get out as soon as possible. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're free to go back. Mr. Hunt,
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. You've been charged with battery. I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. You've been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And because you don't have a criminal history and the circumstances as it's been relayed, I've set the bond at $10,000 for that. And cruelty to children, and I've set a bond for $2,500. So that's a total bond of $17,500. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Sir, get that work on it.
Okay. So I've also set a preliminary hearing date for March 8th at 8:30 in the morning, but it will be over a Zoom call like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or you want me to see if you qualify?
With this charge, sir, I don't even know. I gotta get out and talk to my parent. I didn't even know nothing about this charge, sir. To be honest, I just got pulled over, and actually I heard one charge in Atlanta when they stopped me in Atlanta for a headlight. They said I had a warrant for aggravated assault. So I'm thinking, I didn't know what was that about. So I get down here and they tell me about aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and cruelty to children, and I didn't even know nothing about all this. But I'll get it figured out. I don't know. I got to get out and talk to my parents about it and see what I need to do, because.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make a notation that you're going to hire your own lawyer. If you choose or decide that you need a public defender, I mean, you're close, you're on the edge as it relates to the qualifications, but you can make the application to see if you can have a lawyer appointed to represent you, but you do have a bond, so you can get out.
That's all I need. I appreciate that, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Hunt.
Sure.
Mr. Idawal? I'm sorry? I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
It's Caleb Ido.
Okay.
Ido, sir.
Okay. You've also been charged with aggravated assault and with criminal trespass. And based upon the allegations at this point, I am going to deny bond on the aggravated assault charge. But I've set a bond at $5,000 for the criminal trespass. I'm going to give you a preliminary hearing date of March 8th at 8:30 a.m. I'm going to give you a bond hearing date of March 12th at 8:30 a.m. And do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I really need a lawyer.
I'm sorry?
Really need a lawyer. I just really need a lawyer.
Okay, you do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
I just wanted to be known that I had a really bad trip when I did what I did.
Okay. So you need to tell that to the lawyer that I'm appointing to you, because that could be a possible defense to this, okay? Any other questions? All right, you're free to go back, sir.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Daryl Jones.
Okay, all I see is the top of your head.
That better?
Did you say Daryl Jones?
Yes, that's correct. That better?
Okay. Mr. Jones, you've been charged with driving without a license. The bond is going to be set at $1,000 for that. Driving on a suspended or revoked license, bond's going to be set at $1,500 for that. And normally driving a motor vehicle with a suspended registration, bond is automatically set at $500. So you have a total bond of $3,000. You believe you can make that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna set up a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd, but that date is gonna be waived when you bond out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You see if I qualify for appointment lawyer?
How much do you make per month, Mr. Jones?
4,000.
Okay. I'm gonna find that you qualify for the appointment of lawyer. That puts you on the outer scale, but going to appoint a lawyer anyway. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Jones?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right from the TV. Hands behind your back.
Happy day there.
Hi, tell me your name, sir.
Jim Jones. Out of Alabama.
I'm sorry, we got a bunch of Jones, so I heard Jones, but I didn't hear your first name.
Yeah.
Timothy Jones.
Timothy Jones. Okay. Mr. Jones, you've been charged with 1 count of simple assault. I've set the bond at $2,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to set you a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd, but that date is going to be waived when you post your bond.
I can always come in and pay it first.
I'm sorry?
I can always come in and pay it earlier, can't I?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Jones, do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you can qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I couldn't hear you for the win.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You can see if I can qualify for an attorney.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Jones, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Just want to say, hey,
Go that way.
Come this way. Right there.
Come on, step up and tell me your name, sir. Tell me your name.
My name is Reno Joseph.
Okay, Mr. Joseph, you've been charged with 4 offenses. Driving under the influence of alcohol to the extent you're a less safe driver. I'm gonna set the bond at $5,000 for that. Open container violation. Automatically set at $500. Violation of Georgia seatbelt law. Bond is automatically set at $500. And child restraint violation, meaning you did not have a child properly restrained in a car seat. Bond is going to be automatically set at $500. So that brings a total bond of $6,500. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd at 8:30 a.m., but that date is going to be waived once you find out. you're still in custody, that'll be like a bond hearing. I mean, I'm sorry, Zoom hearing like we're having here today over the computer. Do you plan on representing yourself, hiring your own lawyer, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify for appointed lawyer.
How much do you make per month, Mr. Joseph?
As of right now, I'm currently unemployed.
Okay. So you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
D'Angelo Lewis, sir.
Mr. Lewis, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce, which is a misdemeanor, and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, which is possession of MDMA, which is a felony. For the misdemeanor marijuana charge, the bond is going to be set at $1,500. And that's automatically set. For the felony charge, bond's going to be set at $5,000 by me. So that's a total bond of $6,500. You believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 8th. Excuse me, at 8:30 a.m. And that's going to be over Zoom call like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of lawyer?
Let me see if I'm qualified for a lawyer.
You do qualify, Mr. Lewis, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
Like all together, the bond $6,000, you say, sir?
$6,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Free to go back, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Add 1 more.
Mr. Moore, you've been charged with a bunch of offenses. You're charged with 8 offenses. And I am not setting bond on these felony offenses for possession of controlled substance, the oxycodone, the possession with intent to distribute marijuana, MDMA, cocaine, methamphetamine, possession of firearm during commission of a crime, possession of firearm by a convicted felon. The drug-related objects charge is misdemeanor, so I have to set a bond on that, and that bond is going to be set at $1,500. I've set a preliminary hearing date for March 8th at 8:30 a.m. That's over Zoom call like we're having here today. I'm also setting a bond hearing date of March 12th. Do you plan on representing yourself, hiring your own lawyer, or would you like to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I would like to see if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Moore, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. The lawyer may be able to get these dates moved up, or may be able to get a consent order or consent from the district attorney's office as it relates to bond because of everything that's going on now with the COVID times and these viruses. So please speak to the lawyer so that the lawyer can assist you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Moore.
Edmundo Nash.
Okay, Mr. Nash, you charged with 3 offenses, improper lane change, the bond is automatically set at $500 for that. Not having a license on person, the bond is automatically set at $500 for that. And driving on a suspended or revoked license, the bond is set at $1,500. So that brings you a total bond of $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. I will ask, could I get a signature bond?
Chief Judge Keisha Wright Hill is not allowing signature bonds or OR bonds at this stage, so I cannot do that. But I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies and see what they'll charge. You know, they may put you on a payment plan, that kind of thing, to make it easier for you to get out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Mr. Nash, for the appointment of a lawyer, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir? Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Nash.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, gentlemen, you ready for the last 5?
Yes, Deputy Knox, I will do whatever you direct me to do.
That's not true. Hold on 1 second.
Well, I mean, you gotta let some of the other people, they gotta talk.
Yeah, they talk all right. And here's your last.
Good afternoon. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm going to be the judge here for your first appearance hearing in Magistrate Court at Clayton County. I'm not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds. Those bonds may be cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. Sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use a property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity in an amount equal to 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at the stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice of a new court date at the address that you provide. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any testimony that you give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God? Okay. All right, I'm ready to go when you are.
All right, Patterson. Patterson, stand right there. Smith, right here, say it, Patterson. Which Smith? Come on, stand right here.
Have your name, sir?
Reed Patterson.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, you have been charged with one offense of driving a vehicle with an expired tag. The bond is automatically set at $500 for that. You've also been charged with possession of more than an ounce of marijuana, which makes it a felony charge. And I've set the bond at $5,000 for that. And you've been charged with possession of firearm during the commission of a crime. And I've also set the bond at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $10,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I got a question. If I go through the bond company with the percentage, what that's like, what would that be? Like, what would I have to pay?
I don't know. Each bonding company charges different fees. So whatever the bonding company tells you will be their fee is what it will cost you. Some bonding companies will put you on payment plans. Some bonding companies will not. So you're gonna have to contact the different bonding companies for them to tell you what they're gonna charge you.
And then who do I talk to in regards to some of these charges to try to get them fit? Because some of that, well, as far as the marijuana charge, that isn't correct. Because it's supposed to be less than an ounce, not more than an ounce.
You know, okay, let me see.
I mean, if they had a body cam, they could pull up their body cam and see that it's less than an ounce on their body cam.
What they've charged you with is possession with intent. And what that means is that they're saying that the marijuana was packaged for sale. So.
But it was only, I understand what you're saying though. But when my preliminary hearing?
Oh, it's March 8th at 8:30 a.m.
I can talk to an attorney about this before the court date.
Yes, sir.
How soon you think I could talk to her?
Let me see. So Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Mr. Patterson, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. The paperwork goes over today. I send the paperwork over to their office today. I don't know if they're open or closed. I'm gonna presume that they're closed today, being a holiday, so they'll get it tomorrow. So I would suspect that you would have contact with a lawyer next week or this week. But the company is, well, it's going to be the public defender's office because of the felony charge. So those are the individuals that you would have to call. And my understanding from at least what the district attorney is saying is that they are trying to reach out as far in advance as possible to work on these cases and negotiate these cases because of everything that's going on with the virus. So it should be something that happens relatively quickly.
Okay.
But those are just guesstimates on my part.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Any other?
Yeah, so if I bind out, I gotta go to another county. Would that, like, would they put a warrant out on me if I bind out from this county?
If you bond out here and go to another county and you are not able to make the court date, they will not put a warrant out. If they do, it will be an invalid warrant because it's willfully not coming to court, not that just you miss court. So you shouldn't be like caught in that loop.
Well, if I bind out, I post my bond today, maybe I bind out the following day. Yeah, do you prefer me to just go straight to the other county to get that situated before they try to put a warrant out? Or either way, they gonna really put one out?
Yes, you probably can work that out now. If you have somebody on the outside that can make these phone calls.
Yeah, I know the Carroll County, I was closed today, so I'm back tomorrow and stuff, but appreciate it though.
Okay, any other questions? Free to go back.
What's your name? What's your name?
Okay, Mr. Sneed, you're charged with theft by taking motor vehicle. The bond is going to be set at $20,000 for that. You're also charged with one count of driving a vehicle with no driver's license. Bond is going to be set at $1,000. So a total bond of $20,100. Do you believe you post that bond, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Sneed, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing date for March 8th at 8:30 a.m. That'll be over the hearing computer like we're doing here today. And a bond hearing date of March 12th. Do you have any questions to me, Mr. Sneed? Okay, you're free to go back.
Your name?
Alberto Torres.
Mr. Torres, you're charged with one count of driving without a valid license. The bond is set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I can.
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd, but that date is going to be waived when you bond out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I want to see if I can qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Torres. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Come on, sir. Tell me your name. Stand all the way up, move up some more, move up to the T, there you go. Tell him your name.
Hi, Your Honor. William Walker.
Mr. Walker, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, and I've read the warrant, and it seems kind of, well, interesting to me. So, but I've set up a bond at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm also going to give you a preliminary hearing date for March 2nd, but that date is going to be waived when you bond out, and you'll receive a new date in the mail. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself? You want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I can get a court-appointed lawyer.
Okay, how much do you make per month, Mr. Walker?
Right now, nothing, sir.
Okay.
SSI.
Okay, so you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Walker? Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Tell me your name, sir.
I'll tell you, John.
Mr. Young, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of a controlled substance.
I don't know where that came from.
Crazy. Go down the house and you didn't
I mean, they said that I was out there for something else last night. They couldn't even tell me what it was.
It says that the substance in your pocket field tested positive for methamphetamine. So I don't know if it is or it isn't, but that's the basis of that charge. You're charged with disorderly conduct. The bond for the methamphetamine charge is set at $5,000. The bond for the disorderly conduct is set at $1,500. And the bond for bringing a substance across the guard line is set at $1,000. So you have a total bond of $7,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I don't know, man. Hey, can you answer me a question? What I did disorderly conduct, how that came about?
Okay,
I'm a little bit help you gotta help me understand it, right?
I'm sorry?
I mean, can you help me understand how I committed disorderly conduct?
What they are alleging is that a friend of yours, no, listen to me. A friend of yours was arrested for shoplifting, or they were investigating a friend saying that this person was shoplifting at a liquor store. And they're saying that you began yelling and using profane language at the security guard, and that you were acting in a violent and tumultuous manner, where the security guard was in fear for his safety. That's where the disorderly conduct charge comes from. So let me explain something to you real quick, Mr. Young. At this stage, all of these are allegations. And as a judge, at this stage, I accept the allegations as being true. And that's only, listen to me, please. That's only for the purpose of setting bond, finding if you need a lawyer, and putting this in a posture where you can defend yourself. So that's the whole thing of appointing a lawyer, so that you can go now and defend yourself against the allegations that are made against you. So this is not the stage to talk about whether it is true or false. If they did not have the factual basis, like if they charged you with disorderly conduct, but they didn't say that you did anything that could be true to make it disorderly conduct, I would dismiss the charge because it's unfounded. So it's not a, you know, I sometimes, I know it's hard to kind of deal with it when people say that you did something you know you didn't do, but this isn't the stage where you can fight that battle.
Not righteous though. I mean, it's not righteous. I ain't got no reason to be here. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I mean,
So,
can I be released today?
Huh?
Can I be released today? 'Cause I ain't
Yes, yes, yes. And that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of this, is so that people are not stacked up in jail. I look at it, I set a bond, I move you on. The next stage is where you begin to fight.
I mean, are you talking about I got a bond?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bond?
Yes. Yeah, the bond is $7,500.
So you still,
And the majority of it is because of this meth charge. Other than that, it would be 2,500. So I'm going to set you a preliminary hearing date for March 8th. You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer for you?
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer. Do you have any other questions of me, Mr. Young? You said no?
Will I be able to make a emergency phone call to my?
Yes, sir. When you go back, they're gonna, from this process, they're gonna allow you to have access to the phones. But it's not gonna be something where it's like, as soon as you get down there, they're gonna give you the phone. So they gotta follow their process, but you will have access to a phone. Any other questions? Okay. Deputy Knox, you can go, sir. I have some questions for you.